In Lil Durk's court hearing, some shocking new evidence came to light. The feds believe that Durk paid to have 2 people taken out. The first was Stefan Mack, who was responsible for the death of Durk's brother, OTF D-Thang. The second was OTF Jam's baby mama, who tragically passed away after Durk found out she had been wearing a wire. The feds are now convinced that OTF Jam holds the key to sending Durk to jail for all 3 crimes. This revelation sent shockwaves through the streets. People realized that Jam had been wearing a wire, and it raised a lot of questions about his loyalty. It all came to a head during an Instagram Live where Jam's words caused a stir. His statements made it clear that he might not be as loyal as people thought. Inside the courtroom, the atmosphere was tense as Durk faced the new evidence. Witnesses said Durk looked stunned, wiping his eyes in disbelief. It was a moment no one saw coming. The news caught the attention of Charleston White, who didn't hold back. He said that Durk should be in jail and called it a win for the rap community. It was a dramatic turn of events, and everyone's eyes are on.
This is a real victory because it is a demonic force. It was a dark force. It was a dark energy that came down from Chicago and spread throughout America. I don't think we'll hear drill music ever again. I don't think drill rappers would ever be celebrated ever again. Down goes the drill. So this is a victory for law-abiding Americans who like hip-hop music but don't like the killing part of it.
The biggest thing people are talking about right now is how the feds are putting together a timeline of Lil Durk's life, almost like a map showing his possible involvement in some serious events. Academics broke it down in 2020. Durk's brother, D-Thang, is tragically killed. Then, in 2021, the person who took his brother's life is also killed. Fast forward to 2022, and another one of Durk's cousins gets shot. And in 2023, Durk drops his album, I'm Almost Healed. It's a crazy pattern, right? It almost feels like a story lost, revenge, and then a message with the album title. It's like Durk needed revenge to start healing from all the pain. Now, the feds are diving deeper into Stefan Mack's death, and new reports are linking Durk to it. They believe Mack was targeted for revenge after D-Thang's death on January 27, 2021. No official charges have been filed yet, but Durk's name keeps coming up in the paperwork, and people are starting to notice it's a tough situation, and all eyes are on Durk as this story unfolds. Inside the courtroom, some pretty wild details came out. They showed how Lil Durk posted a tribute on Instagram for his brother, D-Thang, just days after Stefan Mack's passing, but it doesn't stop there. There's also an Instagram Live video where Durk is laughing and joking around with his crew. At one point, someone mentions SL for KH, and Durk's response is unexpected. He laughs and says, "Look at that, what's he talking about? Bro's like a cheese, nothing cheesy over here, stupid little boy. This is real water while y'all's jewels are fake. I know where to be too, blood." His words caught a lot of attention. Some people think he's just messing around, but others are wondering if there's more to it. What did he really mean by real water and calling out those fake jewels? The whole vibe feels like there's more than just joking going on, and it has people questioning what's really behind his words. It's a mix of humor and tension that left everyone talking. It's like everyone's out here doing shout-outs, but you've got to really know your jewelry, right? If someone asks me to shout out their jewelry, I'm making sure it's the real deal, locked away in a vault. There's even rumors that this conversation happened the same day the tragic passing took place, which just makes everything even more complicated. Now, the reason Lil Durk was under investigation in the first place had a lot to do with Lil Pab's death. Brick Baby talked about it in an interview, saying, "You can't say Durk never slid for King Von anymore because they got Lil Pab." That statement got a lot of people talking, especially when you realize how everything is starting to connect. With all these events coming to light, it's clear that the situation is much deeper than anyone expected. People are watching closely, trying to figure out what's really going on behind the scenes. Brick Baby had a real moment when he realized he messed up. The situation took a crazy turn when 5 Chicago gang members with ties to Lil Durk and OTF were accused of being hired to target Quando Rondo in that LA incident, which ended with Lil Pab losing his life. If convicted, the suspects could face serious penalties. The indictment revealed that their flights and rental cars were all paid for using credit cards linked to OTF. Now, people are questioning whether it was an attempted hit on Quando Rondo. Some say no, it wasn't what it seemed, but as more details come out, the story is getting even messier. FBG Cash even brought it up, and the whole situation is becoming more complicated as everyone tries to figure out what really went down. There's a lot of talking going on, and people are watching closely to see how it all unfolds. The federal charges in California are making things even more intense, especially because of Lil P's case. People are saying you can't ignore this anymore, especially with the feds looking into Lil Durk. One of the first things they found connecting Durk and OTF to the suspects was a video of King Von shopping with them. In the video, you hear someone say, "You good, my boy? It got real in here, man, because he just stepped in the money made." With the case looking worse for Durk, his lawyers are now scrambling to get rid of some of the evidence. They're trying to challenge what the court is using, but things are getting heated. Everyone's watching closely, waiting to see how this all plays out. The pressure is definitely on Durk, and the tension is building. Things took a surprising turn when Durk's lyrics were brought up in court. It's like something straight out of the YSL trial playbook. Durk's producer spoke up saying that the song Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy was actually recorded 7 months before the Lil Pab incident. But the prosecutors aren't backing down. They believe some of the lyrics point to the Lil Pab case. Durk's team says that's not true. The producer even showed studio records proving the song was made way before the incident, back in January of that year. Still, the lyrics in question have people wondering, especially since they seem to reference the crime. Durk's team is trying to clear things up, but with the prosecution pushing hard, this back and forth over the lyrics is only getting more intense. Everyone's waiting to see how it all plays out. Imagine turning on the news and seeing your son screaming, "No, no," that's the kind of shock and panic Quando Rondo showed after Lil Pab passed. The passenger in the car was just as frantic. Now, the feds have tied some of Durk's lyrics to this whole situation. In one song, Durk raps about having an addy, which means knowing someone's location, and the feds believe this connects to Brick Baby. Brick Baby allegedly said he would have given up Quando Rondo's location to Durk if asked. This brings up a bigger question: why are people so willing to share that kind of info? It's like someone from your own hood could be asked to help and they might just do it. Some people are speaking out saying, "I didn't do anything." But the truth is, there's a lot of people who seem willing to help when asked. It really makes you think about loyalty, street codes, and what's actually happening behind the scenes. The whole thing is raising a lot of questions. Picture this: a friend talks about his boy who just lost someone close to him and says, "If he had asked me, I probably would have helped out. I mean, if he really needed it, I would have given the info." He's not sure if that's exactly what happened, but in his world, if someone asked, he'd have shared what he knew. Then he says, "Can I leak a bar?" Sure, I'd say, if he made the car right now, I'd accept. Now, if Durk's producers are telling the truth, this could end up being one of the wildest coincidences in music. The lyrics seem to line up perfectly with everything going on, but it's not just about the lyrics. Durk's lawyers are working overtime to clear things up. They're making sure the whole situation is dealt with, especially after it was revealed how Durk found out about everything happening behind the scenes. This story is far from over, and it's only getting more intense as it unfolds. When OTF Voni, a co-defendant, asked for protective custody in court this week, Durk's friend Bazoo had something to say about it. He responded to the news saying, "Why all don't know what's really going on? People in the courtroom don't have all the facts. Why all just throwing out accusations without knowing the truth? It's like, why all trying to play detective when you don't even know the story? It's just weird. First, it was Jam R, now this." Bazoo was clearly frustrated. He's tired of seeing people act like they know everything when they don't. It's a reminder that sometimes people jump to conclusions without knowing the full picture, and it's starting to get under his skin. The whole situation is getting more complicated, and it's clear that tensions are building. So now everyone's talking about someone being a snitch, but honestly, none of why all really know what's going on. Why all are just running with whatever you hear, and that's why I stay out of anything illegal. People like you are the reason others end up in jail. It's like, why all want to make sure they meet Larry, a nickname for prison, for the first time. But things started to shift when academics revealed something that made people rethink the whole thing. He said OTF Vaughn might not actually be snitching on Durk like everyone thought. When you see the post from Flo, it makes you stop and question everything. The situation isn't as clear-cut as people first believed. It's a reminder not to jump to conclusions too quickly. So check this out. The headline says, Lil Durk found out his co-defendant OTF Voni, who's King Von's cousin, asked for protective custody when they showed up to court. That's wild, right? It's crazy when you really think about it. This is exactly why we have these streams, to break things down. Now, I'm not here to bash anyone or call anyone out. I won't act like I haven't made mistakes or jumped to conclusions once in a while. But my goal is always to get the facts straight, and I never aim to be wrong just for the sake of it. So this is why we like to break things down and really explain what's going on, because these headlines can be way more dramatic than the actual story. To clear things up, Lil Durk jumped on a jail phone call himself to set the record straight. He explained that neither he nor his co-defendant are going into protective custody, which means there's no snitching involved. His friend who posted the call added the caption, "Just got off the phone with my brother Lil Durk. He's in good spirits, staying positive, and focused on getting back." That's the real story behind all the noise. Durk's message was simple and straight to the point. He's focused on getting back to his family and kids. He's not out here glorifying negativity. He's about being more than just a street guy. He believes in honor and sticking to a code no matter how much money he has. When he talked about not going into protective custody, he made it clear that he's standing strong, just like everyone else who lives by the same values. This call came from federal prison, and in it, Durk made sure his friend knew that he's got his back no matter what. "I got you, anything you need," he said. He also reminded them that they've always handled their money the right way. It's not about how they started, but how they've stayed solid from there on out. So once everything went down, things changed fast. It was like the past didn't matter anymore. But then DJ Academic stepped in and gave his take. He felt like Durk probably shouldn't have shared all their personal business online, especially since he just made everything public. Academics understood that Durk needed to show that OTF Voney wasn't snitching, but still, he thought maybe it wasn't the smartest move to expose everything. He also pointed out that Voney's fighting for his life, and whatever the reasons behind it, he gets why it happened, but maybe there was a better way to handle it. It's a messy situation, and it's got a lot of people talking. Honestly, it wasn't the smartest move. Think about it, if Durk really wanted to set the record straight, he could have just said what he needed to say to the public and left it at that. He didn't have to get into all the back and forth. Listening to the audio, it feels like maybe this wasn't how Durk planned on addressing everything. He's such a big name, anything he says is going to get attention. Even if he meant well, it's easy for people to take things the wrong way, especially when you're already in the spotlight. It's a tricky situation when you're that famous. Things just didn't feel right. The news spread quickly, and suddenly Lil Durk seemed like he was in deeper trouble than ever before. People started turning on him, and it was all over the rap world. Then reports came out saying that Lil Durk's sudden move to a new prison block happened because of problems in his old one. Being such a famous rapper, it made sense he was targeted for money and commissary. But here's the twist, both Quando Rondo and Lil Tim did interviews right after, and what they said caught everyone's attention. Their messages were pretty much the same, both agreeing that the beef should have never happened. One of them shared how he was just trying to protect his younger brother, but when he found out it was King Von involved, he felt a deep sense of regret. He thought, damn, if I hadn't made that stupid decision last night, maybe he'd still be here, but then he reminded himself, that's just not who I am. I'm a humble person, and I'd never disrespect his family like that. He realized it would have been easy to take things further, but he chose not to. It was a tough realization, but it showed his true character. He wasn't about that clout-chasing life, he's a humble person, but if things had been handled differently, none of this would have happened. Quando Rondo echoed similar thoughts, saying that Durk had a lot of people depending on him, his family, his kids, and his mom who loved him. Now, all of that is in jeopardy. At the end of the day, he said, all this drama is pointless. It could have been dealt with in a much better way, and it's just a shame things turned out this way. Things could have been handled differently, like through a song or even a $3 million deal. It could have been settled in a legitimate music-related way. But fans believe that Quando Rondo's need for revenge comes from rumors surrounding the case. Word around the courthouse is that there's footage of OTF Jam recording the plan to go after Quando Rondo's crew. This only made things worse for Durk, especially with all the added pressure. The situation led to him being transferred to a new cell block where the conditions are even worse. Charleston White had some strong opinions about YNW Melly's case, and he didn't hold back. He said rappers shouldn't get any special treatment in jail. In fact, he even said he's glad YNW Melly is locked up and being treated harshly. According to him, if you take someone's life, you lose the right to complain about how you're treated. You made the choice to take a life, so now you have to face the consequences.